Movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a motion video.
It's Movie Time is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to broadcast shows Fridays at 4:01 and 8:01 p.m. Read reviews and listen to shows online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
I'm Ezra Hoover.
and this is It's Movie Time. Okay, I've seen so many sword and sandals in my lifetime. I can't keep them straight. But maybe the most impressive one in the last few years was Gladiator with Russell Crowe.
I agree.
And that's
strongly.
also because Russell Crowe just loved what he was doing. And
It was tailor-made for it.
So now we have Gladiator 2. And so, I'm trying to think, how does it compete with the old one? But maybe we shouldn't get into too much of a comparison between Gladiator 2 and Gladiator.
I agree.
Because if you go to see Gladiator, my take is, you'll be fully rewarded if you see only Denzel Washington.
Right, and he just steals every scene he's in, doesn't he? That's his talent, I think. Every scene.
And you say the guy has won 2 Oscars, and for good reason. But he goes through this stuff so easily, it's hard to believe.
He's just got that je ne sais quoi, the charisma.
He really does. So tell me, what was your impression? Did Adina go with you, or did you go alone?
I did bring my wife with me, and she enjoyed it. She enjoyed it a lot more than I did, actually.
Really?
Yes, spoiler alert. But as a spectacle, it was fantastic. I grew up with the original. It's been so long, almost 25 years, over 20 years since the original. I wonder if some of the audience was even old enough to see the first one.
Yeah.
I don't like to compare sequels, just
Right.
like you do.
I know.
However, if
Okay.
you include 10 minutes of footage from the original movie, it's hard.
Are you trying too hard, you think?
They keep channeling the original. I thought it was strong enough with the great cast they had, Pedro Pascal, you've got Denzel Washington, among others. It could have stood on its own.
Yeah.
But I think they really want to build on the original, but a great spectacle.
Yes. And I would say, in adding to that, there were many or several minor characters who could have been fleshed out, and they didn't.
There was. Well, you had to leave scene for all those rhino battles, and historical ship battles.
For our audience, the director is Ridley Scott.
It is.
And the last film I saw of Ridley Scott's that made an impression on me was Napoleon, and I was disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And why was I disappointed? For the same reason I was disappointed with Gladiator 2.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is a genius in spectacle.
He is. He is. It almost seems maybe we just do the spectacle, don't even bother with the story. Maybe it's not necessary.
Why don't you? Exactly. And his scenes, his battle scenes, he even has the nerve to bring in rhinos and baboons and who knows.
All that. And I want to say that this, as a nerd, an internet nerd, this set me off on a Googling frenzy. A lot of this stuff really happened. There are records of rhinoceri
Okay, yeah.
in the Coliseum.
But no sharks.
No sharks, no. And no killer baboons either, unfortunately.
You know what I love about the sharks? Ridley Scott is that kind of a director that'll do that, and he doesn't care what you think.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, okay, you can laugh at it, but it's kind of interesting, isn't it, to flood the Coliseum?
Go for it. I know, and I love it. Why not? We're there for the bombast. And to go back to Napoleon, there's a scene in Napoleon where Napoleon is fighting armies near Egypt, in Egypt, but near Cairo. But he says, no, let's have them fight under the pyramids, where he actually blows up one of the pyramids in the movie. That didn't happen, but I loved it though.
Well, Ezra, when I go to these, and I know people want to steer me away from it, but I love the contemporary parallels. Now, I think in our podcast, we might go to some more sword and sandals.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm really interested in, all right, is this spectacle, Gladiator 2, worth anything in modern terms? Is it, can you see any parallels?
Well, I think the public's appetite for this sort of big epic movie has been proven already with so many Marvel comic book movies, things that are just kind of for entertainment, and why not? And this has the added bonus of maybe sparking some interest in ancient times. And
Yes.
maybe learning about things that used to be. I thought it was fantastic from that
Because
perspective.
the sets are so good.
Amazing.
You say, where did they find this preserved? It's unbelievable. And then whatever CGI they have,
I
I
thought
always,
the CGI was fantastic.
I always love to tell the story of how, who's the big CGI guy with, I'll think about it. But this director, whom you all know, and I can't think of his name now, but anyway, they brought him in.
James Cameron.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, that's why you're on the show. You are a smarty pants, and you don't mind saying it, and you are absolutely right.
I can just read your mind.
They brought in Cameron to look at a clip
Oh, did they?
from one of his movies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Couldn't tell the difference.
Really?
The director could not tell the difference between reality and the CGI, and that's how good it is.
I thought
Yeah.
it was fantastic. It really was.
It's no longer distracting.
Right,
We just accept it,
right.
and that's why it's so immersive. You know, if you're thrilled by the Roman mystique, just go to this movie, you're gonna get it. And in most cases, it's highly, historical.
Yes, it is. And I would say as much as the historical nature is just the way he was able to create this living, breathing world. And to go back to the rhinos, there's a party after the battle happens, and the rhino's head has been cut off and is now being served on the table. You know, I mean, these are things that
Good
maybe
Lord.
this happened, maybe it didn't. I don't know.
Wow.
I just can't even imagine.
In your research, did you find out they had
I
a
did it.
rhino?
I did it.
A
I
rhino
did like
even?
rhino steaks. There were rhinos. I don't know
Oh.
if they ate them, but knowing them, they probably did. You're right. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Isn't that a formidable image, the rhino coming in with the guy on top of it?
It was. It was.
I mean, it's just great. I thought Pascal, or whatever his name, with the,
Pedro Pascal. Yes. He was
yeah,
acacious.
Paul Mescal.
Oh, Paul Mescal.
Paul
Yep,
Mescal,
yep, mhm.
right. I thought he was a little weak.
I agreed. I kept that to myself. I found him a little everyman-ish.
Yes.
And again, I hate to compare, but Russell Crowe just had kind of that bruiser mentality.
Oh, he
This
did.
guy looks like he can handle himself in a bar fight. Whereas the new guy, Paul, I think he did a great job when they gave him some
Yes.
lines to work with, but it sometimes just looked kind of average.
Yeah, right. And I'll tell you whom I liked. His wife.
Yep,
Where
yep.
did she go? I mean, they killed her off.
Spoiler alert.
Right. She killed her off way too soon. She was reminding me of Gal Gadot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
She
mean,
had
really
that
a sharp lady,
She
and
was.
then she's gone. And I should give her I'll find it somewhere. I could give her credit, but anyway, she's so. Now, if they wanted a character who wasn't like Maximus or whatever, yeah, okay, he did it, right?
Right.
If he didn't want to overshadow the past,
Sure.
and he wanted to show how the Numidians were weak and they were meant to be rolled over by these Roman armies. Okay, they did it. But for this spectacle for me, I guess I wanted more Russell Crowe.
Right.
I mean, it didn't have to be him.
Well, you got plenty, because there are clips of his face in the movie which were really shocking to me. This
Yeah.
movie is 25 years ago.
But Pedro Pascal fills my bill.
Yeah, he did a great
I
job.
mean,
He did a
he
great
did
job.
terrific.
I'm a big fan, again, as a self-proclaimed nerd from Mandalorian, as well as The Last of Us. So he's done Star Wars as well as video game adaptations.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
he's
yeah,
got plenty
yeah.
of positive regard.
That may be the reason you're here.
Probably.
Probably.
I will say, I'm curious your opinion on this. I love the mixed melting pot nature of the Roman Empire. However, Pedro Pascal's features are so strongly kind of Latin American. I found him a little bit out of place, just visually.
Yep.
I don't know if that bothered you at all.
No, but I thought about it.
Right.
But, you know, and as you know, and I think you're very similar, I go wherever the director wants me to go.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you say, okay, you want somebody who
We'll take it.
looks more Latin than he looks Roman, I'm okay, I'm with it. If you put one of your leads as a black man, you know, I don't know,
Sure.
you know, it doesn't seem to me they're that liberal. But he's an arms dealer, smarty Denzel Washington.
Who's a real person, by the way, actually.
Ah, good.
Interestingly, all of these characters, almost all of them have
Yes.
real historical references, some being accurate and some not.
That's
The
right.
brother emperors, interestingly, in the film are portrayed, they love each other, always next to each other. In our historical record, they hated each other, and they tried to kill each other, and one succeeded. He actually killed his brother and then took over as emperor. So really interesting if you look into it.
Yeah, very eccentric characters depicted on the screen.
Very.
And it amused me because they were just waiting. You know, boys, I don't think you're gonna make it.
They were. They were.
You were just not trying, and Denzel was doing such a great job
Right.
of laying back and you're saying, you guys should not be entangling yourself with this arms dealer. It is not gonna turn out well for you.
No, and it didn't. I'm curious what you think about Denzel's performance and why is he so good at what he does? What is it?
Well, I'll tell you, and you know that I'm going to Malfi in a few months, and that's because of Denzel,
Is it?
because of Equalizer 3.
Okay.
That's where they filmed it. I said, what's this cute village?
Good enough reason to go.
And I said, I have to go. That's a part of Italy I'd never gone to. What is it? And I think it's a great question because I asked the same thing. He is so effortless. You want to stand by and say, but I could do that. Wrong. Right?
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Well, I challenge you, okay? I challenge you to identify another actor who has a very regional accent and never changes it and has been in so many movies. I think it stands out to me because he grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, which is very close to my hometown of the Bronx, and he never turns it off.
He doesn't.
Whether he's in Macbeth or he's in ancient Rome, he sounds like he's from the Bronx.
Yeah, he has, and I don't know if he's manufactured it, but he's manufactured a kind of persona.
Tough guy persona.
Yeah, a tough guy who's quiet.
Right.
And he doesn't come on strong. Dwayne Russell Crowe, for instance, could come on strong.
He's
but
a bruiser.
Denzel does. I'll tell you the one complaint I have about Denzel,
Mm-hmm.
and I mention this and talk about it frequently with my dentist.
Okay.
He just went wrong with those teeth.
With the another one. I'm thinking back now because I just watched the tragedy of Macbeth. Did they CGI his teeth? I think they did. They must have because that would look
I was
ridiculous.
so conscious of that. And I say, God, we're back. Yeah, what great time.
And that's a testament to his persona on screen that he can just, it doesn't matter.
I know, you're right. Okay, so Ezra Hoover. The film is Gladiator 2. What do you recommend to our audience?
I say go and see it. Don't think of it so much as a sequel, but perhaps a retelling of the first.
Right.
And maybe bring your young ones. There is a lot of violence, but there's no sexuality or anything like that. And maybe it'll spark an interest in history.
And am I correct? Not that much blood. Don't they cut away, or do they?
Oh, there are buckets.
Are there?
gallons of
See,
blood.
I don't see that
Yes.
anymore.
Yes, you're just used to it.
Yeah, I'm just used to, yeah, I'm interested in how they might do that. Okay, people have to go to WCBE.org, to the podcast experience, to hear us. If, I can't believe they want to, but if they do, they can hear more of us on the podcast, and it's called Back Talk.
Don't miss out.
It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know